Hey folks, all right, how's it going? So today we have for you the second half of the Q&A that my sister and I did with all of your questions. So let's just kind of jump right to it.
Our next question is from TM, and he asked, will you attempt the 4-state challenge or the half-gallon challenge?
All right. No and yes. The 4-state challenge, if you don't know, is a 43.3 mile section, which goes through 4 states: Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. I think it starts at like mile 1023 or something, and goes again 43.3 miles. You want to do that to beat the 43, or to do the 4-state challenge. Basically, you step foot in all 4 states in 24 hours. So you're doing a 43-mile, 24-hour section. It's also, I mean, it's allegedly it's like the flattest 43-mile section of the entire trail. So that's another reason why people try and attempt it. It's about 8,000 climb and about 8,000 descent, and that'd be coming up. But that'd be coming up in like 60 miles from when I get back on trail. So, but I don't think I'm gonna try the 4-state challenge. I don't care that much. I don't want to hike for 24 hours. I won't be happy about it. I won't feel that great if I do it.
Yeah.
I just don't care. It's gonna ruin me the next day. I don't care. And honestly, it's so close to home. Like, if I want to do it sometime, I'll do it sometime.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know,
yeah.
If it was a 4-state challenge to get through like Maine and New Hampshire or something like that, that's not so close. But I mean, I could go do the 4-state challenge. It's like an hour and a half from where I live. So it's honestly the closest section of the Appalachian Trail to where I live is the 4-state challenge. So, you know, no, I'm not going to do the 4-state challenge. Now, the half-gallon of ice cream, the half-gallon challenge, that's a whole different story.
What is the half-gallon?
The half-gallon challenge is right at about the halfway point of the Appalachian Trail, which is also coming up pretty soon in another 100 miles or so, 100 and a bit, at Pine Grove Furnace Park, I think in Pennsylvania, is the halfway point. And the deal there is if you can eat a half-gallon of ice cream in an hour, you win. And you don't win much. You win like a little wooden spoon that is stamped with like, I won the half-gallon challenge or something.
But I feel like everybody wins when they eat ice cream.
I've heard there are a lot of people who win and lose at the same time. I've heard that a lot of the privies trail north of Pine Grove get pretty rough. But eating a half-gallon of ice cream has never been a challenge for me, and I don't expect it to be a challenge.
How many Ben & Jerry's is that?
Oh, solid question. I don't know. That's a solid question.
So it's what, 4?
Well, a Ben & Jerry's is a pint, but I don't know how many pints are in...
About 4 pints to a gallon, right?
No, there'd be more than that. This is a solid question. We'll put an answer down below.
Okay. I just thought of that. From Roger Robertson. I like that name.
Yeah, solid name.
Yeah. What have you changed? What have you changed? What lessons learned? How is it hiking alone?
What have I changed? What lessons learned? How is it hiking alone? That's like some kind of like haiku. It sounds like a Buddhist
like a meditation.
Yeah,
question.
Meditation, exactly.
Yeah. What have you changed? What lessons learned? How is it hiking alone?
Yeah. A lot of the lessons I tried real hard to learn last year. Like, I spent so much time hiking last year just to make things automatic. Like, I wanted to know as soon as I get to camp, what are my priorities of work? Like, what's the first thing I have to do? What's the second thing I have to do? Why am I doing them in this order? And how do I do them without thinking about it? Like, how do they just become instinctive? Like,
and you hiked like in so many different elements too, right?
Automatic,
like you
yeah.
hiked in the rain, you hiked in the cold.
Right,
like
right. I tried, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So experience is great. So in as far as lessons learned, I mean, a lesson that you got to keep learning, I think, on the AT is like, pace yourself. You know, a couple of the mantras that I keep in my head at all times, and I've said them on videos in the past. One of them is like, the most important day on trail is tomorrow. It doesn't matter if I do 40 miles today. It doesn't matter if I do 2 miles today. I need to be right tomorrow. Period, full stop. So emptying the tank today does me no good. Like, you gotta be right tomorrow. My most important day on trail is tomorrow. You know, you got to figure out how to pace yourself. It's a long trail, and that's why I take so many zeros and breaks and stuff. Like, I'm out here to enjoy myself, and I feel that, like, stupid, pointless urge to go fast that doesn't make any sense. And sometimes I do. I mean, just the other day I did that 31-mile day or whatever, and that's a long day. That's a lot of miles, I think. But there's no reason to, you know. I mean, if you want to have fun with it, by all means. But a lesson learned is pace yourself, for sure, and take it easy, and rest, and recover. And if you get hurt, stop. Like, come to a dead stop and get better. Injury is unavoidable to some degree, but re-injury is avoidable. And re-injury is where you really hurt yourself. So that's one lesson learned. How have I changed? I don't know. I've probably lost 15 pounds or something. I'm getting pretty thin. I got to keep eating. And then, how is it hiking alone? I don't know about hiking alone. I had that little tramley I was hiking with for a little bit. A lot of them are far ahead of me now. A couple of them are behind me. I don't feel like I'm really hiking alone. I guess I feel like I'm hiking alone because when I break camp, I break out of camp on my own. And when I get to camp, I get to camp on my own. But at camp, usually there are people I know there. Like, I know people like 200 or 300 miles ahead of me, and I know people 100 or 2 miles behind me. And I've heard the names of just about everyone who I haven't met. So when I get somewhere, I know someone, like, and I probably know several people, and that, honestly, that suits me better. Like, I get to cast a wider net. I don't feel like I'm hiking with the exact same people. On the other hand, I do get to see, like, I'm seeing my friends again every night, you know what I mean? Yeah. I get to see all my different people and ask about the people who I don't see, and that suits me better. I mean, there's that saying, like, he who travels fastest alone, right? And that works if you're trying to travel fast, but even if you're not trying to travel fast, even if you are trying to go slow or whatever, he who travels slowest alone too. Like, he who travels and wants to smell flowers smells the most flowers on his own. Like, I think it's better, to my mind, by all means, hike your own hike. If you're really minded for a company and an accomplice or whatever, then partner up or find a tramley and hike with them. It's not that I'm antisocial at all, but I like moving at my own pace, and I don't like feeling any sort of way about, you know, leaving people behind or blasting by people or having people blast by me. Like, I don't want to get caught up in that. I like to go, if I decide to stop, I'll stop. I'm perfectly capable of, like, e-braking a hike and jumping on a trail for 3 days. And I'm perfectly capable, I guess, of going 31 miles in a day if I want to. Like, so I like moving at my own pace and knowing people all the way along the trail.
Yeah.
That suits me. I don't feel like I'm alone. I don't get lonely.
But that's a good segue into the next question. From TM, he said, I spotted your former tramley members stretch on a YouTube live recently. Do you miss hiking with the tramley? What would you say are the pros, cons to hiking with the tramley on the AT?
Yeah, I guess we just kind of went through that. Shout out to Stretch, aka Cody. I knew him back when he was Cody. But I guess he partnered up with Taylor, who I mentioned earlier. Taylor, then a Hampshire hiker who's got her own YouTube channel. I'm sure, I don't know for sure, but I'd be willing to bet that's probably where this TM. I'm betting that's where TM saw Stretch, was in something Taylor did. They're both awesome. I love Taylor. I love Cody. I'd love to think I'm going to catch up to them again. I'm never going to see them again on trail. They're like crushing miles. They're both monsters, and they're just absolutely crushing it. And good on them both. They're both fantastic people. I miss them. I miss both of them. But, you know, they're hiking at a different speed than me, and I'm totally cool with that. And as far as hiking with a tramley or not, I don't feel alone, and I don't feel beholden. So I like it. I mean, the pros and cons, we kind of went over that.
Like, to have, like, people ahead and people behind, that way, like you said, like, you're never really alone. You're kind of, you're going at your own pace, but you have people kind of on either side that you can...
And it is decidedly nice to have people ahead who you're able to exchange numbers with. I will say that. It is a bonus to exchange numbers with folks. You should exchange, if there are people you get along with, after a couple days, exchange numbers with them. Because wherever you guys wind up, you can tell each other, you know, oh, there's a great all-you-can-eat Chinese place here, or this campsite is really cool, or this shelter is out of water, or whatever. Like, gut hooks is great and the comments are great, but if you're getting it straight from someone you know and like and who was just there last night and it's 2 days ahead of you, I mean, that's great intel. Like, that's great insight. So
Yeah.
exchange numbers and keep in touch with folks.
Now, that's another kind of good segue into a question from Mike Adams that says, have you spent the night in any shelters? Do you hang your food everywhere on the trail?
So I think we mentioned I do definitely hang my food everywhere on trail. I don't sleep with my food. Less for bears, to be honest, than for mice. I've heard plenty of stories of people I've met who have had a hole chewed through their tent, to have a hole chewed through their sleeping bag, to have a hole chewed through their pant pocket, to get an empty Snickers wrapper.
Wow.
Or something like that. And at that point, like, my tent is $700, man. My sleeping bag is $600. Like, I only have one pair of shorts. Like, don't chew through my shorts, man. Like, I mean, but we're talking about just an incredible amount of damage that a mouse can do just to get to a wrapper, not even your food. So I'm paranoid about my food and mice and stuff like that. Basically, I keep all of my food is either in my bear bag, in my stomach, or in my fanny pack. And that's where all of my food and all of my wrappers go. No pockets, no pant pockets, no shirt pockets, no pouches on my pack, no side pouches or anything like that. Everything is either in my bear bag, in my fanny pack, or in my stomach. And
where
that's
do you
it.
keep your fanny pack?
And then at the end of the night, I'll take my fanny pack and put it in my bear bag.
Oh.
And when I send my bear bag up a tree or in a bear box or whatever, that's where that goes. That should pretty much answer the question about shelters as well. Every single shelter on the AT is full of mice. I mean, it's just the way it goes. And so I have slept in shelters, I think 4 nights or 5 or something like that. I think less than a half dozen nights I've slept in shelters. They're cool, and I'm glad that they're out there. But for me, they're more like social meeting grounds than they are places to sleep. I don't really like sleeping in shelters. They're full of mice, and mice have norovirus, and they also chew through your stuff. And I'm good, man. I'm good. I have a tent. I really enjoy my tent. I'll pitch my tent.
This next one is from Richard Nagri. After getting the vaccine, do you feel confident that you're pretty much immune from getting or giving the virus to someone else?
Yeah, solid question. Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot better, that's for darn sure. I feel a lot better about it. I mean, I think at this point I've spent over a year, like, training hygiene and social distance into myself, and it's going to take a little bit of work to undo some of that. I think there's a lot of stuff I'll keep carrying forward. But yeah, boy, I feel a lot better. I mean, just this morning being able to go to a diner and have breakfast with my wife, you know, I mean, that's something I wouldn't have done 4 months ago, you know. I feel a lot better about it. You know, but I'll still mask up if I'm in a shuttle or walking through a hotel, just out of respect for those who haven't been vaccinated. But yeah, boy, I feel a lot better about it. If you haven't gotten the vaccine, get the vaccine. Do it.
And so going back to answer Michael Tarvin's question about Daphne being real, I think
she is real.
We can all confirm that Daphne is real.
She's real. She's real. She does exist.
She's my sister-in-law.
Yeah,
she's
real.
At their wedding.
And she's really camera shy. So.
She's awesome. We love Daphne. Another one from Richard. Have you done any other through hikes before? Is this your first one?
This is my first one. I've done hikes before. I haven't done any through hikes before. This has kind of been a bucket list thing for as long as I can remember, to varying, you know, with oscillating intensities of wanting to do it. But, you know, when the pandemic hit and I've been out of work for a year or whatever, there was no time like the present. So, you know, one way to say it is making lemonade out of lemons. I also like to think of it more of like jujitsu, you know. You take all the force that the universe and the pandemic is giving you in one direction and just take it and apply it in a direction that suits you better. So you just take it and move it, you know. Take it and move it. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I wish the pandemic hadn't happened. It's been really, really, really horrific for a lot of people. I've been incredibly fortunate with you and the rest of the family. Like, everyone I know and love most in the world has been healthy, knock on wood. And that's a blessing for sure. And that's not lost on me. You know, but I'll try and make I'll just jujitsu that energy. I'll try and take what I don't have any choice in and apply it in a direction that suits me.
So Mountain Life Magic asks, do you have any plans or intentions of hiking the PCT and or CDT?
Yeah, man. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about it. I've thought about it, definitely. You think about it a lot. The more people I meet on trail who have done one of the other two trails or both of the other two trails, it's exciting. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. The Continental Divide Trail.
Ah.
So that's the one that goes through like Idaho and Colorado, and there's multiple like 200-mile stretches where there's just no civilization whatsoever.
Yeah, that sounds treacherous.
Yeah, I think you got to be pretty tough.
As in, say, props to people who do that.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, 100%.
Do you follow any other hikers / YouTubers while on your Thru-Hike? That was another from Mountain Life Magic.
Mountain Life Magic, yeah. I mean, I have a lot of subscriptions on my YouTube channel that, you know, folks that were really, really helpful for me before I got on trail, and folks whose insights, even like, I mean, like cinematic approach, like filmographic aesthetic or whatever, I don't know, approaches have been helpful, and who I really respect, and you know, folks whose hiking styles I really respect. So there's a lot of people I've subscribed to, you know, last year, whose hikes I was watching last year and earlier this year before I got on trail. But once you're on trail, man, like, I wish I could keep up with folks. I'm really curious where Andrew's at. Andrew Live Life and Quicksand. I'm curious where those guys are at the Blazing Bakers. Or I'm curious about where a lot of folks are at whose channels I was watching. But, you know, you just don't have time. I mean, every minute you're in town, you're backflushing your water filter, or buying resupply stuff, or soaking your feet in Epsom salt, or, you know, trying to figure out how to replace a GoPro with how to fix a dress or whatever. Like, you know, so yeah, I'm curious about where a lot of folks are going, but I hate to say it because it makes me feel like an idiot, but I don't have time. I just don't have time to follow people. I just don't.
You'll catch up with them.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I really like those folks. I mean, it is great to follow people and see where folks are at.
Yeah.
I found a lot of benefit in it. So.
Jerry Bailey asked a question that Michael and I were actually talking about earlier too. When you set your camera down to film and you're walking away, how much extra do you walk in a week?
I have no way to know that. I mean, I guess I could get like a pedometer or something. I don't know. Basically, every time you see me walk past the camera, or one of those shots where I'm in the frame, for one, to be perfectly honest, I swear I'm not generally trying to shoot myself. I'm generally like, I'm inserting myself as a frame of reference, like as a scale. You know about how tall and fast a person is. So if I'm in there, then you can actually get a sense of scale for what's going on. And usually with those shots, I'm trying to just apply a sense of scale. Usually there's something else in that frame that I'm trying to show you. And then I put myself in there as a sense of scale or something. But most of the time, those shots, let's say if you see how long the actual shot itself is, the amount of time that went into it is probably fivefold, from situating the camera and trying to frame it up and then walking through it, usually starting far behind the shot, walking into the shot, and then walking out of the shot, and then walking all the way back and picking up the camera. So usually the amount of time is probably fivefold what the actual clip you're seeing is. And the distance wouldn't be so much more than twice, usually. So I don't know. Figure out how many steps I'm taking. If your average step is 3 feet, I don't know. I hate to pass the buck, but
I was really curious when you were forging the river.
Yeah.
Because you left your camera, or you took your camera with you and you left your phone on one side. But I was like, if you got like, not swept away, but if it was like too treacherous to go back to grab your phone, like, were you just going to wait until somebody else walked by and just be like, hey,
if it had been too treacherous, I wouldn't have gone across the river. I mean, I went across the river knowing like I might start this ford and decide I'm not going to do it. And once I got in the river, though, and I saw how deep it was and everything else, I didn't feel too bad about it. So at that point, I was good. And I just went. And I thought, if nothing else, it'd be video evidence, and it'd be interesting for someone to watch a video of me getting swept around. Yeah.
All right, yeah, so our last question from TM. Are you hiking the trail faster or slower than anticipated? Did you have a date in mind for reaching Katahdin?
I don't have a date in mind. When people ask me about a date, I always say by my birthday. By my birthday is my goal. My birthday is the middle of September. That should be achievable. I mean, that should be achievable.
Yeah.
Am I hiking faster or slower? My pace, I feel like, is just so strange on this trail. It's been very strange. I expect the second half things might even out a little bit. But the first half, for one, I mean, the first 260 miles or so, I had that nothing over 15 until after the Smokies rule. So that was the first quarter of the trail.
Yeah.
That I set a hard and fast rule, nothing over 15. At the same time, I definitely was like, I'm going to take a lot of breaks. I'm going to stop often. I'm going to be in a hotel often. I'm going to take zeros. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to go slow. I'm going to ease into this thing. Like, it was all, that first 260 miles or whatever until after the Smokies, it was very deliberate. Like, I wanted to go slow. I did not want to set any speed records. I figured in that first 260 miles, there's two outcomes of going fast. There's only two possible outcomes. One, I get to Maine way quicker. The second possible outcome is I hurt myself or burn myself out or get too angry at it or whatever, and I take myself off trail. And the likelihood of the latter is like 80 times more likely than the former. I mean, you're not setting any speed records. I mean, unless you're one of these fastest known time folks or whatever. I mean, I think there's an 80 to 1 chance if you're trying to burn miles right out of the gate, especially through like some of the hills in Georgia and stuff that are pretty intense, like pretty serious. You're way more likely to kick yourself off trail by going fast than you are to get something productive done. So that first 260 miles, extremely deliberate. Take a lot of breaks, go extremely slow. I mean, not extremely slow. There are people who are going a lot slower than I was, and God bless them, more power to them. Hike your own hike. But, and then as far as whether I'm going faster or slower, I hadn't really set any goals. I mean, I was expecting 6 months. You know, that's kind of like the standard AT answer, 6 months, 5 to 7 months. If I land somewhere in 5 to 7 months, I'm happy. You know, if you go 12 miles a day on average, you get there in 2 days short of 6 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So right now, my daily average, even counting all my zeros as days and everything, is 13.3 miles a day or something.
Okay.
And I feel like only in the past couple weeks have I really started trying to, you know, push and see how fast or far I can go. So whatever. I don't, to answer your question, was it TM?
Yeah.
I don't have any expectation of how fast I do or don't want to go. I guess recently I've been feeling like I want to go as fast as I want to go. You know, I don't want to get to camp at 2 p.m. anymore, you know. If I have to, and I will, and that's fine. But I didn't have an expectation of how fast I wanted to go. I didn't have an expectation of I wanted to be in Connecticut by this day or DC by this day or whatever. I'm happy with the pace I'm going. It's strange because I'll go, I feel kind of like stop and go. I feel like the hare and the tortoise and the hare a bit, where like I'll run and pass a lot of people and then take 2 or 3 or 4 zeros and then run really fast again and pass those same people again and then take 2 or 3 or 4 zeros and then run really fast and pass those people again, and it's like, I'm sure I'm confusing the heck out of people on trail, but so my pacing's sort of strange that it's fast and slow, but whatever, I'm happy with it.
Cool.
Yeah. That's it?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we got all of them.
Wicked.
Yeah,
All right, so that's the
got
end.
it all.
That's the end of the Q&A. Number 1.
Oh wait, no, sorry.
Oh, we missed one.
There's one more.
Okay.
One more for gear from Richard Nagari again.
Okay, cool.
Do you use a GoPro to record your videos? If so, which model do you like it?
Okay. Yes, I use a GoPro. I use a GoPro Hero 9 Black or Black 9 Hero or something like that. Some combination of those 3 words. The number 9 is in there. Yeah. Hero 9. Black. That's the GoPro I use. Again, love the product and don't particularly care for the company. Their customer support was horrifically lackluster, sadly.
Confirmed it's a 9 Black. I'm just going through just to make sure So yeah.
Cool. Thanks for doing the Q&A. Thanks for doing the Q&A, guys. This is Erin. That's my sister, #1 support person back home.
Aw, thanks.
#1 piece of advice for getting on the trail is have a sister named Erin. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you. Thanks, B. I don't know what to call you. Thanks, B.
All right, folks, and that was the second half of the Q&A. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hopefully we got to your questions. If you have any further questions, feel free to drop a comment down below. Hopefully that helped quite a bit for you. Yeah, so I think I'm going to be getting back on trail today. I might wind up staying one more night if I'm not able to get through all of the errands that I still need to get through even after 5 days. But I did just kind of want to catch you up on what's been going on. It's been a great stop. Saw all my family, saw a bunch of friends. Yeah, we got all the family together. It was my sister Erin who helped me with that Q&A that you guys already watched. That was pretty fantastic. Daphne and I went to a baseball game. We went and saw our Nationals. We used to be season plan holders for the Nationals, and I haven't been to a Nationals game since Game 5 of the World Series in 2019, so with the pandemic and everything. This was our first game together since the NLCS in 2019, so definitely fun. They lost, but you know, whatever. It was fun to be at the ballpark. So we saw a ball game. Aside from that, we met up with a bunch of friends back in DC, went out for a few beers with them. That was definitely a good time. Great to see all those folks. Kirby, Eric, Sean, Kyle, Taylor, Jay was there. We saw Troy was there. We saw a whole bunch of people. So that was definitely a pretty good time, seeing some friends that I haven't seen in a couple months. And then, yeah, I took care of some health stuff. So I'm feeling good and healthy, but since this is home and I know the doctors around here, I went ahead and visited a chiropractor and visited a masseuse as well. So both of those were definitely worthwhile stops, and I'm feeling super fresh. So anyways, that was my, I guess 4.5 zeros or so. Thought I'd just kind of catch you up on that, and we'll be getting back on trail pretty soon, either today or tomorrow. So we'll see. Ludo is apparently constipated, but we'll work through it. We'll work through it. All right, I'll see y'all later. And just a couple other things I wanted to mention. I wound up switching out a decent amount of gear. I mean, not a crazy amount of gear, but a few things. I swapped out my Mountain Hardwear Phantom 0 degree sleeping bag with my much lighter Feathered Friends Flicker UL Quilt 20 degree sleeping bag. I also switched out my sleeping pad, so I got rid of the Thermarest Neo Air X Therm, which is like a 15-ounce sleeping pad. It's wonderful, it's great, but it's super insulated, and probably more insulated than I need at this point. And I switched that out for my Thermarest Neo Air Uber Light sleeping pad, which is almost half the weight, so that's pretty cool. I also lost my Patagonia Quandary pants. I haven't been wearing them at all, and they're like 10 ounces, so I thought I'd just go ahead and leave those with Daph and not take those back out on trail. But yeah, so all up, definitely wound up saving some weight, probably a couple pounds or something. I don't know, I'll do the math and put the math on the screen here so you guys can see. But yeah, definitely switched out some gear moving forward. Coming up in the next few days, we'll hit the 1,000-mile mark, we'll hit the halfway point, and then pretty soon we'll be on I mean, we've been on native soil this whole time for a few weeks in Virginia, and pretty soon we'll be on trail I haven't seen before, so I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, anyways, just wanted to touch base about that as well. And now I think I'm gonna go get some breakfast and coffee, and yeah, I'll talk to y'all later.